What's up YouTube? Heckshot87 and welcome to the Smith & Wesson Shield versus the Performance Center Smith & Wesson Shield. My name is Heckshot. Welcome to the channel. Thank you guys for watching and joining us for this mini comparison. We have talked about the Shield a lot. We just recently did our Performance Center review, by the way. Love the gun. Still haven't got my fiber optic sight yet, but that's okay. We're going to talk about the differences between these guns. We're going to talk about the price. I'm going to show you a little bit of shooting between them. We're going to see if the differences between the Performance Center Shield justify the extra price, or do you just buy this gun and add the features you want. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this. We're going to talk about pros and cons of each and do some shooting. All right, so let's talk about the overall features of each gun real quick. Let's start with the regular Shield. Regular Shield has been out since April 2012, and this thing is pretty much on the market. Glock 43 came out this year. Glock 43 is taking a chunk of the market. I still think this Shield is selling better than the Glock 43. I personally like it better as well. Features of the gun, you can get them with or without a manual safety, which is kind of nice. One thing about the manual safeties on these guns is they are very positive. All right, very positive click. So it takes a lot more pressure to get that thing up than it does to take it down. Mrs. Heckshot likes the safety. She leaves it on. I don't. So when I carry the Performance Center Shield, I don't leave it on at all. I leave it just like that, and we've never had it just come on out of nowhere. So that is one thing, but you can get the regular Shield without the safety. All right, so no slot for a rail up here. You have all your controls on the right hand side of the gun. Okay, so the magazine release is not ambidextrous, the slide stop is not ambidextrous, the magazine button isn't even reversible, so that's just what it is on this pistol. You'll notice the trigger guard is slightly rounded in here, but if you do something like that, then you can probably keep your finger up there pretty comfortably. You got a little bit of an undercut right here. Magazine button on both these guns is just great. It's kind of big right there, and it's angled back towards your finger there, so it's out of the way when you're shooting, but when you need to get to it, it is very easy to get to. Stippling on the grip on the back and front strap is kind of like these little bumps there. Very slippery. I'll just go ahead and tell you right now, Talon grips or something like that is definitely needed for these guns. They both come with 7 and 8 round magazines. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. The regular Shield has steel sights. They are adjustable. All right, so you can see the sights there, just a 3-dot white dot setup. They are steel, they are adjustable, so that is pretty nice. Overall, just a fantastic little gun. Now let's talk about the features of the Performance Center Shield. Everything is pretty much the same as far as dimensions, size, and all that. You have lightning cuts up here in the barrel, and you also have a ported barrel. Okay, this is designed to keep the muzzle rise down on you. Okay, we'll talk about that later in the video. The sights are fiber optic. You'll notice the front one there, it is supposed to have a green fiber optic in it. That is missing. That's the sight that fell out in our initial shooting, and we had to get it replaced. 7 and 8 round magazine as well. Pretty much all the features are the same. The trigger is upgraded, so let me show you the trigger on the Performance Center Shield. You'll notice here you have a little bit of grit and play in that trigger. All right, nice clean break, and there's your reset. We'll do it one more time. You hit the wall, nice clean break. They estimated at 6.5 pounds, and there's your reset. So a very nice upgrade on the Performance Center Shield. The regular Shield, keep in mind, 1,500 rounds have been through this gun. You have a little bit of grit, same kind of deal. You hit a wall, very clean break. It does feel a little bit heavier though, I will say that. It kind of has a ghost reset almost. Check this out. Can you hear that? That's not the reset. You got to go out a little bit further. So it can throw you off. It does throw me off at times. Just keep that in mind. That's not the reset. That's the reset. So that's just one of those upgrades with the Performance Center that you're going to get, okay? Overall, I'd say the guns are very, very, very similar. Now, the Performance Center shield, you cannot get it without the safety. At this point, as far as December 2015, that is not an option. So that's something that you will that you'll have to keep in mind if that bothers you. I think it's a very passive safety. It's very small to the frame, and I don't think it's going to inadvertently just come on. At least it hasn't on us, and we've carried the shield a lot. Talking about carrying the shields, they are very, very comfortable inside the waistband. This is probably my preferred holster for the shield. Tolster holster. I got mine on order right now for the Performance Center. I've been carrying it in the hidden hybrid holster because it covers the trigger guard. It does, and it sits pretty much flush to my body, but I got one of these on order, so it'll be exactly for the shield. But Tolster holster inside the waistband, either one of these guns are going to do just fine. Alright, now both guns feature a 3.1 inch barrel, 19 ounces unloaded weight with the magazine, 6.1 inches in overall length, and 4.6 inches tall with the regular magazine. Of course, it's going to be a little bit taller with your 8 round, just something to keep in mind. Stainless steel slide and barrel on both of them, and they have the melanite finish on the slide. So very, very high quality materials. Of course, a lifetime warranty through Smith & Wesson, so very nice. Of course, the shield does have the fiber optics, so you have a couple of upgrades here. Let's talk about the breakdown of each gun. Let me show you the regular shield. They're pretty much the same, okay? So this isn't going to be a long, drawn-out thing, but I want people to be able to make an informed decision about which one they want to get. So basically, lock the slide to the rear. All right, you can either pull the little yellow tab that's internal in the gun, or just pull the trigger, and the slide comes right off. Performance Center shield is the same exact way. Pull the trigger, comes right off. And these guns are they're the same gun pretty much. You just have a couple differences. Notice the recoil springs. Pretty much the same. Stainless steel, dual captive recoil springs. The barrels are going to be a little bit different because you have ports in this one. And this one, you do not. One thing I do want to show you after our shooting adventure here. Alright. Notice which one has oil. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but the regular shield does have oil on it. The ported does not. I used the same exact oil that was Lucas gun oil, and the ports, as those gases and stuff were coming out, just took all the oil off of the barrel there. So something kind of interesting just to show you guys. On the inside of the sides, the biggest difference I can see are the firing pin blocks there. You'll notice this is the Performance Center right here. Notice how smooth it is in there, and the shield is just a flat top. So that, you know, probably has a benefit as far as the trigger pull there. Other than that, lightning cuts in the slide, and the sights, that's pretty much the only difference. Internals, they look pretty much the same. Performance Center is right here. The regular shield is right there. You can see your ejector, trigger bar, all that good stuff. This was the little yellow tab I was telling you could pull down in there without having to pull the trigger. Both guns have it. Alright. Stainless steel inserts on your rails. So very high quality construction polymer guns. Wow, did that really just happen? Yep. Alright, so you notice a little malfunction as I was talking about the high quality construction. Stuff is just falling off of the Performance Center shield. I don't know what's going on. This is a pretty easy fix, but the takedown lever came out. So we're going to put that back in there. There's a little little detent in there. I'm gonna do this on camera because that just happened unexpectedly. Goes in there like that and comes down. Not a big deal. Not a big deal on the sight, I guess, but things just seem to be falling off of this gun. So, anyways, I don't know what that's all about. I've never had that happen on this one, so that's kind of interesting. I have had the white paint fall out of the regular shield, by the way. We've had to fill that a couple times, so it's just one of those things. So let's go ahead and put them back together. So as you can see, the guns are pretty similar in construction. Putting them back together, lock the slide to the rear, rotate your lever back to the horizontal position. Good to go. Same with the regular shield. And one thing about putting them back together, sometimes they want to catch and you'll have to re-rotate the spring in there. These are just little quirks with the shield, man. It just has these little things about it. Overall, they are very, very good guns, though. So now let's show you some of the shooting that we did. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.
If you so they can make you're anticipating this, which everybody's so what happens.
Ooh, I love my shield, baby. That is a good one.
You get to a certain point of that trigger, you're pulling, and you're like, it should be, and it doesn't. You go and see the one click for one. You're anticipating the bang, but you it's slow and it's steady. And you almost anticipated surprise.
Shooting the two guns, you can definitely tell the trigger on the Performance Center is better. And that's something that just comes with the territory. The upgraded sear, the plunger, whatever other upgrades they have done with the gun are pretty well. If you missed the first video, by the way, the fiber optic, I don't think I've talked about that, but Smith & Wesson was able to contact High-Vis to get me another sight replacement, okay? You know, I didn't notice it when we were shooting, but now thinking back to it, when I was shooting targets, we had a big orange target in the last video, and when I was shooting that thing, the front sight looked orange, and I don't know why it did not register that the sight had fell out, okay? I was still putting rounds on target. It wasn't messing with me. It was just an orange sight, and I don't know why it didn't register that the thing fell out. I thought, you know, sometimes with fiber optic, when you're looking at it through certain light and certain backdrops, they'll kind of change a little bit. So I thought that's what was going on, but now that I think about it, the sight had already fell out, but I was still able to do what I needed to do with the gun, even with the sight out. So that was just me not thinking, but both guns handle recoil really well. These are not the smallest 9mm single stacks on the market, but they do a really good job of handling the recoil. You have a really nice capacity to size ratio, and carrying a gun this thin, all right, with 7+1 in the chamber with an extra magazine, you have 15 rounds right there with you at all times in a super slim package, easy to carry. And some people cannot afford to run the risk of being seen with a firearm. Some people have jobs where you cannot be seen with a firearm. So a smaller gun like this, maybe even smaller if you're in one of those positions, you know, that's what you need to go with. You know, go with what's comfortable, but a gun like this is just so easy to carry if you have it in a good holster. Good holster is so important, and a good belt. Fortunately, we have two companies we work with very closely, gun belt company and a holster company, and they have really taken care of us. The whole gun belt thing, I'll just touch on this really quick. I was wearing a regular belt for over a year and a half. Core Essentials contacted us, sent us out the belt. You can watch the review that we've done with them. But just an amazing difference that belt has really made. So, pros and cons of each. Which one would I go with? Let's talk about the pros of the regular Shield first. $300. I seen these Black Friday, after Black Friday, for $299. I don't care if you have, you know, an LC9S, you can buy an extra magazine, all this kind of stuff. Whatever. $300 for the Shield. You get 2 magazines, a lifetime warranty, stainless steel slide and construction. This gun is a true winner as far as concealed carry pistols goes. It has its little quirks. We'll talk about them in a minute, but man, this is such an awesome gun. And for $300, most of the time they're around $330. That is an amazing deal for this gun. The Performance Center Shield is going to come in. I paid $420 with a $20 transfer, so about over $100 more for the Performance Center. Of course, we wanted to get it quick for a review for you guys, so I paid a little bit more. Give it a couple months, this will probably be in the $400 range. Still a great value, and you get that upgraded trigger, which actually I think is definitely better. Also, fit and finish of the gun. This one has been around with us for almost 2 years, 1,500 rounds, and it's still holding up really well. Not had to send it back to Smith & Wesson or anything like that. It's just a really high quality pistol, especially for the money. Aftermarket support for the Shield is going to be great. There are sights out there, there's trigger kits, whatever you want to do, you can get them for the Shield. Also, like we talked about, they're easy to carry, they're easy to shoot, and you can take this Shield to the range and actually have a good time with it and not feel like you're beating up your hand or killing yourself trying to do it. It's a fun gun to shoot, it really is. So that's an extra bonus, especially when we're talking about these smaller pistols. Let's talk about some of the cons. These guns are a little bit stiff. It has the last round syndrome we talked about. When you load 7 rounds in here, it likes to, you know, stick out the bottom like that. You really got to tap it in there. The bottom of the magazine is exposed there, so if that bothers you, it's not a huge deal, but it is something to point out. The grips on both of these are very slippery. This grip texture provides very little traction for your hands when you're shooting. So Talon grips are a very, very good upgrade for these guns. Rack and the slide, if you have weaker hands for whatever reason, you got to give them time to break in. They're just a little bit stiff. It's kind of like the best unrefined pistol out there. They're just they have these little quirks about them. You know, even if you use the slide stop as a release, we all know you're not supposed to do it, but a lot of people do. Doing that on this one is actually easier, but it still is it is pretty stiff if you like to use that as a release. So they have those little quirks, and that's pretty much it about them. Other than that, great price, great shooter. Now, would I go with this one over this one? I am going to say maybe.
Just because of the trigger.
And yeah, exactly. Just because the trigger. And one thing about the trigger is I don't like to do any kind of work with a trigger that I'm going to carry. I don't want that to, if I ever had to use this, God forbid, I don't want to ever have that come up that say, hey, you had your gun and you did some work on the trigger and now it's 3.5 pounds instead of 6 pounds, or 4.5 pounds instead of 6.5. You know, whatever the difference is, I don't want to have to do work on that. With that being said, all right, the stock trigger on the Shield is not horrible. It's still a good trigger. I would say, you know, go probably with a regular Shield and buy yourself a set of night sights or fiber optics or whatever you want to do. The ported barrel and ported shield, or ported barrel and lightning cuts in the slide and all that, they make the gun look cool. And this is going to be my new carry gun. But they don't add a whole lot of function. You're going to see the shots where we have both guns from the side, and you can kind of see a little bit less recoil with this one over the regular Shield. But I don't think it does enough. You know, I mean, you're talking about another $100, you know, for, you know, an upgraded trigger and a set of sights, ported barrel. I would rather go with a regular Shield, add a good pair of night sights or something like that, and just get used to the trigger, because the trigger on this one is not terrible. It's not horrible. So that's just what I would do. I think this is a great gun. I think once they drop down in price, I think they're probably going to be around $380 to $400. You know, at that point, I would definitely buy one. But I've seen these things for $500 right now, and I would say absolutely stay away from those companies selling them for $500. That is a rip-off right now for this gun. So, just my 2 cents. There are some key differences here. I think the Shield is still the better choice. You can get it with or without the safety. Performance Center you cannot, and you can take the extra money that you spent on this one and just throw whatever sights you actually want on the gun. If you like the high vis sights, you like the fiber optics, you're okay with the safety, and you want that little bit better trigger, go with the Performance Center, because it definitely is a good buy. So there we go. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below about the regular Shield versus the Performance Center, and is this one worth the extra money? Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. We got a lot more for 2016. We'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, hold them down.